No to vote.
Hello and welcome back to another Pickled Unscripted. As always, I have with me the mischievous, the talented,
Mischievous.
Matt the Pickled Dragon. Matt,
Yeah.
what are you drinking today?
Oh, I'm still working on the old Grange Stone.
Yum.
Um, Very good stuff. Highly recommend at least the sherry cask if you like that sort of thing.
I do. I do.
It's very
Uh,
good.
Unfortunately, I'm back to tea, still trying to be healthy.
Health, 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 health. Okay.
So, we have an interesting video for you guys today. We have a particular post that we'd like to go over with you about D&D's new direction.
Yeah, this is kind of this actually was posted on D&D Beyond a few weeks ago. Um, and we're only just now getting around to it because life and busy travel and Gen Cons and whatnot.
My
Um,
fault.
but I found a lot of the statements. Um, some of them were somewhat amusing, and some were interesting from a standpoint of past behavior, past attitudes at WotC. Um, but yeah, so let me just do this thing real quick. Here's the thing.
Show us the thing.
There is the thing. Okay, so D&D's new direction. Welcome back to the table. So Dan here, he's taken over the reins after all of the Perkinses and Crawfordses. They all jumped ship for Darrington Press. And he's taken over the helm and he's telling everyone that he's been playing D&D since he's was 12. So he's saying, I'm one of you. I started on the basic set. So I'm a true gamer. Um, and so he's trying to make that connection with you guys, trying to mend those fences. I found this line kind of funny. I'm here to open a dialogue with you as if we've been at war. The fans of the game have been at war with WotC, which
We kind of have.
yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that, honestly. And and then he finishes up by saying, Dungeons and Dragons belongs to you, which I think we all already knew that because most people homebrew the heck out of the game and, it doesn't become anything like what they publish. Besides that, I mean, what do they publish some rules, right? They publish a collection of rules and we do with them as we wish. So, yeah, I mean, in a large part, the game does belong to us. So, thanks for saying that. Thanks for validating. Um, there's this cool picture of a butterfly dragon going over, and
I kind of like it. I like the clouds, all the pretty colors in the clouds.
these these waterfalls coming off of plateaus. I don't know where the water's coming from, but that's pretty cool though. It's very fantastical. So they've successfully not ignited our imagination over at WotC, drawing us in, right?
Good for them. Why didn't they do that with the whole book?
Yeah, so here we go. So, a system that belongs to you. The new core rulebooks were shaped by 10 years of community play feedback. The upgrade doesn't replace the previous rules, it enhances them, like sentence enhancers, if you recall that line.
Mm.
So I I found that line to be kind of funny because I did not like a lot of the changes. I felt like 5e was already heavily slanted towards the player in terms of, the strength of the characters and the relative autonomy that a single character can have. Because it seems like virtually every class has, every class can heal, every class can cast spells, virtually all. I'm not saying all, but virtually all. Um, the virtually every race has dark vision, and so at that point, you can make a group that essentially become monoliths unto themselves. Like my D&D group, my 5e group that I run, there's not a dedicated healer or dedicated arcane spellcaster in the group. They went without either for a few years of the campaign, and really didn't. It really wasn't a huge issue for most of that time. Um, so I think that really speaks to the rules and um, how there isn't a huge need for teamwork to be successful in the system. So me personally, I'm not a big fan of the rules, but you
Well,
know,
I tend to add on like 50 HP to every single thing I throw at all my players. I mean, I basically have to make all my monsters and attacks Super Saiyan level to force strategy and force teamwork.
yeah, I literally well, I mean, from about fifth level on, I literally customized every single monster that my group faced. It was
Yeah, but you didn't have to do that before. Now you, with
no.
these newer editions, you really have to do that even at a low level. My players are only at level 2.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But I just found that even, my old group before I moved down here a couple of years back, a few years back, it was a very large group. It was 8 players deep. So I had to go all out. And it was like when I moved down here and I put together a new group and we had 4 or 5 players. I was thinking to myself, okay, well, this is gonna be more balanced. I'll be able to see it. Didn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Didn't matter.
No, and 8 players is insane. I definitely think that the sweet spot for the amount of players is no more than 6. I think the sweet spot is 4 and 5.
It
After
is.
6 and up, it starts getting kind of murky.
Yeah, yeah. But one of the things I found funny, one of the bones, they've already pulled us in with imagination and wonder and a brotherhood of the basic set, right? But now they're saying, hey, come back and get on the old virtual D&D Beyond and run games with us, and we'll let you use content maps for free.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so, they're basically saying, here's something that we're not making money off of anyway, so you can just have it, but just come play.
How
Right.
gracious of them.
I mean, that's kind of what I see, right? I mean, the Sigil, their VTT, did not do what as expected, and so now they're throwing some bones to try to lure some folks in. So
Well, it's a little late. I mean, they should have done this to begin with. I don't know
they
who
really wanted to
decides their
monetize
marketing plan, but they're freaking terrible, man.
they really wanted to monetize every inch of that thing, out the wazoo. But the funny part is that uh, they finish up by saying, but if you subscribe to our master tier,
Bleh.
you'll unlock more customizability for the DMs who need it. And of course, it's one of those things where you know, once you get in there and you're mucking about to really unlock the features that maybe you already had with Roll20 or whatever, you got to really subscribe, right? And the hope is that the graphics and all that stuff will rope you in, and make you a true believer. But I don't know. I still thought I said it a long time ago when they first announced their VTT, and we started speculating on the numbers of subscriptions they would need to pull in the amount of money they want. They wanted to make it $1 billion IP. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, I I thought that it was going to be a really, really tough road for them because you still have to buy all the books, you still have to buy everything that you probably already purchased on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or any of the others, because it's a big investment. It's
It
it's
is.
it's a lot to ask someone to change platforms, even if you have fancy graphics and little miniatures you can move around. The icons on Roll20 and whatnot, uh, were they got the job done. And at that point, you're saying all the glitz and the glamour and the bells and whistles are more important than the story that DM's weaving, you know.
Hmm.
And I just thought at the time I thought it was going to be really hard. You can go back and watch our videos, and I think we were proved to be correct.
Yep. Yep, we were. I mean, we kind of knew that it wasn't going to work out very well for them. I mean, think about any platform trying to get anybody over from one thing to another. I mean, MySpace to Facebook, Facebook to Instagram, Instagram to TikTok. Well, TikTok was easier because they started monetizing, but that was anyway, that's beside the point. Getting people to get over to a different platform is an incredibly hard feat.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. I mean, you get invested in what you're doing, you're comfortable with it, and you don't want to rock the boat.
Why change? People
Yeah.
don't like change. People have to deal with change on all these other parts of their life, you know? People get married, people die, people are born, people move. There's all kinds of crazy changes that happen in your life, and the last thing you want to do is have to learn a new system just because WotC decided they wanted you to.
Yeah. You know, the next bit about their initiatives is they're going to create an advisory council made up of creators, publishers, educators, and fans to help us
Oh,
shape
please.
future tools. Uh, you know, the I've seen companies do this in the past where they create these councils, and from my experience, they either ignore them, like they pay lip service, like they bring them in and they're like, "Oh, what do you guys think?" and then they just kind of do their own thing anyway.
Yeah.
And in my experience, like in the games I've played before where they've had advisory councils, eventually they get disbanded. But
Well, or the second thing that they do is they make an advisory council just filled with basically people who are going to confirm their own biases.
yeah, and that was the yeah, good, and that was literally what I was about to say is like it's gonna be a collection of sycophants and people who are just like all on board because they're either clout chasing or they're huge fans of the new system and being able to just pummel everything in their path. Um, that's my opinion, and I don't know that it's really going to make any real impact on the direction that the game has taken.
No, of
Uh,
course not. I mean, they're probably going to have like Deborah from marketing and then like one of the interns on that freaking council, you know?
Deborah from marketing. That's a good point. It's about building lasting collaboration with the people who make D&D what it is. More details to come. Yeah, and obviously a lot of this, I kind of found it funny as you go through and read a lot. There's a lot of fluffy language here, right? And I kind of feel like they've spent several years now kicking most of the at least the hardcore fan base, the long time fans, stretching back to first edition. They've spent the last few years just kicking those people in the teeth.
They have. They've
And
completely targeted. They've completely annihilated the trust between the community and the companies. They have undermined everything that has been built over the last 3, 4 decades. They they've completely alienated their target audience. I don't know what they are expecting.
yeah, because when new editions would come out, even the folks, from my experience, and I'm sure there are exceptions, and I'm sure there's going to be people that post in the comments, I'm not that person. But even the folks that still played 1E, never went into second edition or whatever, they still bought the books to have them. Um, and again, that's my experience. But when you start burning bridges with that collection of people, it will make a difference in your bottom dollar. Uh,
Hmm.
because when second edition really began to peter out and they were losing a lot of traction with their fan base, Third edition came out and it came out roaring, but then fourth edition came out and it was a train wreck. Whether you like it or not, you got to admit it was a train wreck.
Yeah.
And those folks, those longtime fans were the ones who kept the ball rolling. They kept the dream alive there. You know, when sales were really bad, you could always count on those folks to go out to a Living Greyhawk event or whatever and keep teaching younger players how to play the game. You know, the outreach from WotC, especially in the last several years, has been pretty poor. And so it's one of those things where the last few years of PR fumbles, to put it nicely, um, did a lot of damage. And I think this is a sign that they recognize that, right? This new, I think somebody, Wargamer Magazine or one of them, put it as fan service focus. You know, they're focused on fan service now. And I'm like, why would a company ever not be? Like, but now they are apparently. Now they're like saying, "Hey, we're in this together, right? Right? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, dude.
yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
You know what you guys should do? Stick to tabletop in person. And when you do that, you're going to need dice. Oh, wait, Matt, do we know a place that they can go for dice?
DandDdice.com. Promo code pickled. Yes. Uh,
dnddice.com, promo code pickles. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think. Is this just the beginning? Do you feel like maybe we can rebuild the community with WotC, or are they just telling you things that you already really knew this whole time? But no matter what you think, come back and have another round on us.
yes.